Hi folks, thanks for joining us today as we present to you the reimagining of the Fox Theater in Walsenburg, Colorado. I'm Jeffrey Wood, an architect working with the University Technical Assistance Program at CU Denver. The UTA program is based in the College of Architecture and Planning and is funded thanks to a generous grant from the Department of Local Affairs. Our mission is to assist rural and outlying communities with conceptual design work and public engagement, which opens the door to an array of grants and funding sources to help these projects get built. We'd like to thank the folks at DOLA, in particular our regional manager, Tara Marshall, as well as our friends at Herfinale County, including Carl Young, as well as the executive director of the Fox Theater, Mike Peters. We'd also like to thank you for your participation, your comments and ideas, as well as your enthusiasm. About a year ago, we sat together in the Fox Theater and made our first presentation to a gathering of residents interested in seeing the grand old theater transformed for the 21st century. Perhaps you were there. If so, some parts of this presentation will seem familiar. Bear with us while we bring the others up to speed. There's a rich history that accompanies this theater, and we'd like to make sure you know all about it. We'd also like to share with you the considerations that we used to create the designs you will see. For those of you just joining the process, welcome aboard. There is surely room for all of you. We listened to your comments and concerns, and tonight have a series of 3 concepts to show you that will hopefully bring us one step closer to the transformation of the theater that you want to see. I wish we could all be together in the auditorium tonight to allow our imaginations to run wild. But even though sitting in a theater together seems a long way off these days, with a little work now, we can use this downtime to refine our concepts, secure funding, and get this building ready for its sequel. We will look at 3 concepts. One with minimum changes to the footprint, but with modern restrooms and other amenities for the comfort of our guests. We will also look at a scheme with a more deliberate series of interventions, all within the confines of the existing building. Finally, we will present to you a scheme that not only includes a major theater renovation, but also an addition, making way for a future theater complex that will serve as a conference center and event center as well, serving a wide variety of needs for the community. We will also entice you with the thought of an outdoor theater, just the ticket for a warm summer night under the stars with an old family favorite on the big screen. Think of it, kids running around while mom and dad recite every line from a movie. And then settling down on a blanket or sprawled out on the lawn, the smell of popcorn and hot cocoa filling the air, while passers-by slow their cars down to see if they can guess the name of the movie just by the image on the screen. This is the new Fox Theater in Walsenburg, and we're glad you could make it. In order for the Fox Theater to remain viable in the future, we need to find better ways for it to make money. Primary among these objectives is flexibility. We'd like to be able to toggle between movies and live performances. We'd also like to enhance the visitor experience with better food, maybe a cafe, and concessions related to either the performance or the film being shown. We'd also like to give people multiple reasons to visit, not just for a movie, but maybe some live music in the cafe and the lounge area of the lobby. We'd also need a smaller cinema for showings of new releases after they've been screened several times and they were playing to like a half-empty house or less. Also, there's a need for a backstage green room for live performers to wait before their act or after the act is over. Finally, we'd like the renovated facility to become a hub of activity for the entire community. Perhaps you drive by on an evening and see something going on in the lobby, a performer you know of, and you want to stop and join in the party. In addition to traditional performance and theatrical events, the theater could be made available for trade shows, exhibitions, and art shows, as well as for public meetings, much as it's used today. In the future, perhaps, a conference and event facility might be developed, which would allow those sorts of events to go on without disrupting film showing schedules. Additionally, a classroom area, perhaps geared towards youth film production, would be nice, as well as a black box theater area. All of these amenities would be enhanced with proper food preparation area, A catering kitchen could serve not only those events, but the cafe itself. In addition, a better array of offices, storage, and various administration spaces will make the theater a much more comfortable place to work. And perhaps eventually, maybe there'll be need for a visiting artist apartment. The vacant land to the south of the theater is enticing indeed. Acquisition of this land would allow contemplation of a major expansion in the future that might include a conference and event center. In the short term, though, this land might be another facet to the monetization of the facility. A garden theater in the summer months might attract families and be another way of bringing income to the theater operation. In the meantime, though, there's upgrades to the HVAC system, the lighting, as well as structural and drainage issues at the foundation that need to be addressed. In addition, we'd like to make the seats that you're sitting in, or will be sitting in, to be more comfortable, and the overall furnishings and decor to return to the greatness of the Fox Theater when it was initially built.
The Fox Theater was constructed at its current location at 715 Main Street in 1917. It operated as the Star Theater from 1917 through 1929, boasting 700 seats with 300 seats in the balcony. During this time, the building functioned as a venue for live theater and Walsenburg County's first talking picture shows. It was known as a hemp house due to the ropes and pulleys that were used to operate the stage sets, much of which still exists within the fly area above the stage. Historical notes suggest that as a vaudeville house and theater, it was the center of much of Walsenburg's social life. In 1929, the name was changed to the Valencia Theater. At this time, the owner redecorated, updating interior finishes throughout the building in a Spanish motif. In 1941, a major renovation occurred, which resulted in the Art Deco facade currently in place on the building's east side. The projecting Deco marquee was added, and the original brick walls were stuccoed over, a reflection of the style that became popular in the United States in the later 1920s and early 1930s. At this time, the name was changed to the Fox Theater. The theater operated until 1987, when it was closed until 1992. A roof collapse during this time resulted in some interior modifications as a result of the water damage. In 1992, George Beer began operating the theater, which at the time was home to the Walsenburg Youth and Arts Foundation. The theater is currently owned by Walsenburg County and is operated by the Spanish Peaks Community Foundation. The seating capacity is 390, with limited ADA accessibility throughout the building. Today, the theater works hard to advance its nonprofit mission to foster, promote, and increase the public knowledge and appreciation of the arts and cultural activities in the Spanish Peaks region.
Walk along with rhythm in their thighs, rhythm in their feet and in their lips and in their eyes.
Before we share some concept designs, we would like to show you two examples of theaters in Colorado of similar vintage that have been rehabilitated and now provide a mix of uses. These projects provided inspiration for our designs in the reimagining of the Fox Theater space. First, we'd like to introduce the Rialto Theater in Loveland, Colorado. As with many historic movie theaters, the 1920 built Rialto enjoyed a comparatively short initial heyday, designed for both silent films and vaudeville. By the end of the 1960s, it was in decline, finally killed off by the rise of multiplexes and video in 1976. In 1977, the Rialto Theater finally went dark and was converted into a mini-mall and office space. Most of its original decoration was lost at this time. By 1987, the mall was vacant. That same year, the Loveland Downtown Development Authority recognized the Rialto Theater as a possible anchor for the rebirth of the historical downtown area. Plans were drawn up to return the Rialto Theater to its 1920 splendor for use as a performing arts center. It wasn't until early 1996, however, that the Rialto Theater fully returned to its original appearance and was reopened. The theater was turned over to the City of Loveland 2 years later. Today, the Rialto Theater hosts everything from silent film screenings to children's theater to rock concerts. In 2012, the Rialto Theater Center was built as a 20,000 square foot addition adjacent to the historic theater. This dynamic partnership resulted in a $4 million developer-driven project, including major financial support from Loveland and the Community Foundation of Northern Colorado. The project includes much-needed back-of-house uses for the Rialto Theater, connecting to the existing stage, a street-fronting restaurant, expanded theater lobby and patron service areas, a second-level community room, and third-story commercial office spaces. The next project is the Hippodrome Arts Center in Julesburg, Colorado. It opened as the Hippodrome Theater in July 1919 with 2 separate street-side rooms for rent to merchants. The theater opened and closed and changed names and ownership over the years. In 1996, the Hippodrome Arts Center organization was officially established, and the building was reborn as a multicultural center in addition to a movie theater. In 1999, the Hippodrome Arts Center was listed as the first building in Sedgwick County on the State Register of Historical Places. In the ensuing years, the building reconstruction included renovating the building, adding a ballroom on the second floor, and adding a commercial-grade kitchen. The roof was completely rehabilitated as well. In 2011, new seating was added. In 2012, the lobby and concession stand took on a whole new appearance as both were completely remodeled. And in 2013, the digital age arrived as the Hippodrome made the conversion from the carbon arc to the new projector system. Today, the Hippodrome Arts Center continues as a centerpiece of community life and activities. Hi, my name is Sarah Goldblatt, and I'm going to be sharing Concept A with you. This concept illustrates the possibility of what can be done within the existing building footprint of the Fox Theater. It incorporates many of the desired elements, including maintaining a performance theater, a movie theater, space for community events, and a small performing arts stage. The idea behind this concept is to create a fully ADA accessible theater, including restrooms, stage, and second floor spaces, while returning the interiors to an Art Deco style to give a nod to the past while planning for the future. The first floor of this concept maintains the historic ticket booth location on the exterior and also provides a new ticket booth location on the interior that is adjacent to the concession area to make it easy for someone to staff both, with an easy flow for ticket, candy, and soda sales. A small band shelf for micro band concerts is located adjacent to the lobby. This central space can be opened up fully or enclosed for a conference space, art gallery, or classroom. The lobby maintains its 2-stair layout to get patrons to the second floor and provides space for an elevator and an office that has windows into the lobby and onto the street. The first floor seating uses the existing sloped floor, but proposes all new seats with greater spacing between rows for enhanced comfort and ease of access. The main first floor theater accommodates 152 seats. A new ramp allows for ADA compliant access to the stage. In Concept A, the second floor is proposed to be entirely reconstructed, providing new catwalks that double for lighting, rigging, and premier seating opportunities. Sloped mezzanine stadium seating for up to 75 people is also introduced to provide casual seating options for a variety of performances and events, with optimal sightlines to the stage and screen. An adjacent room provides space for lighting, projection, and sound equipment. A smaller multi-purpose room is introduced on this level for private VIP events and special occasions and smaller movie screenings. The room can seat 50 seated at round tables and up to 70 in theater-style arrangements. The new proposed elevator provides accessibility to all spaces on this level. This conceptual image shows a snapshot of the experience of the new ticket counter and concession stand adjacent to the main lobby. This layout would make it easy for someone to staff both areas and creates an easy flow for sale of popcorn and drinks and places these elements in a highly visible location. This conceptual image provides a snapshot of the lobby experience and the proposed bandshell that would open up, expanding the lobby space, allowing patrons to enjoy pre-function activities before the main event in the theater. The bandshell could be used as an art gallery, or closed off and used as a conference room or small classroom. The lobby decor and stairs would be a nod to the theater's earlier Art Deco appearance and elegant ambiance.
Hi, my name is Justin Trammell, and I'll be talking about Concept B for the Walsenburg Fox Theater. For Concept B, we have maintained the existing footprint of the Fox Theater, similar to Concept A. The main focus for Concept B was the scaling of the bathrooms to accommodate ADA access. Those bathrooms have 2 stalls each and have been scaled and moved to the center of the structure. By doing so, there is now more space on the right-hand side of the floor plan. On the bottom right-hand side, we have a multi-purpose stage where music or a variety of performances can occur. There's also a door on the bottom side of the structure opening out to the garden theater. On the top end of the floor plan, we have the ticket and concession stand, and also a grand staircase being the main access to the second floor of the theater. There's also an elevator on this top side to allow ADA access to the second floor as well. In the main theater space, we have 110 seats available for viewership, with an additional 4 seating for ADA access. Access to the second floor includes the grand staircase, as well as the elevator and additional staircase on the bottom of the floor plan. The second floor has a smaller screening room that can hold 48 individuals for a more private screening. On the second floor, there's also a mezzanine stadium seating that allow 57 additional viewers to look out on the stage below to the main theater space. On the southeast corner of the first floor, we have the multi-purpose performance stage. This area could be utilized for events such as music, comedy, or a lecture series. There is space available in this area for direct viewership, as well as low partition walls, allowing the event to spill into the lobby area if desired. There's also doors leading out to the outdoor theater, connecting these 2 spaces. Upon entering the theater, on the right-hand side is the grand staircase and ticket counter. This is where service would be for ticketing as well as concessions, and the grand staircase would be the main access to the second floor of the theater.
Hi, my name is Fernanda, and I'll go over Concept C. So this concept is based on the acquisition of the vacant lot for an expansion of the theater, and this addition would be broken up into 2 phases. This first phase is a new circulation and restroom core. It allows for new ADA compliant restrooms with additional fixtures, a kitchen for the Fox Theater and the outdoor garden that would occupy the vacant lot until phase 2 is completed, and an elevator, a new elevator, and fire stairs. This circulation core would remain in place when phase 2 is constructed. The main theater renovations include new fixed seatings in the main theater, and the new capacity would be 152 fixed seats plus 4 wheelchair seats. Then the lobby becomes very important in this renovation with a higher ceiling, a grand staircase, and a new cafe performance space. And we really want to highlight the Art Deco elements of this lobby to give it a more grand feeling when you walk in. And you still have an office and concession counters for the theater, which remain very similar to how it is set up right now. As you come up the new staircase, you come directly into the big theater VIP seating. There's bar height seating along both catwalks and additional stadium seating in the middle. This is approximately 75 seats in the second level, and there's still space for some cocktail tables or standing room if there was to be a big meeting in the big theater. There's also, we're adding a second screening room, so after a movie has been shown on the big screen, it can be moved to the smaller room, which seats 40 people. In the addition, the space above the restrooms and the kitchen can be used as a rooftop deck for the garden theater when the weather permits. This is a street view of what the new theater would look like with the addition built next to the Fox. As you can see, we've added kind of a storefront look to it to mimic the old Fox style. It also has some windows which would allow some natural light into that circulation staircase and lobby on the first floor. So it wouldn't necessarily have street access for the restrooms and elevator just because of a control point issue, but it does add to the aesthetic of the street and bring in natural light. This is a view of the new lobby. So as you can see, we have the new staircase to the second level and the stage area on the opposite side. This open floor plan allows for that cafe or performance space to take up as much or as little space as needed depending on what events could be happening here. This room is a place where we really want to emphasize the Art Deco history of the theater by using colors and materials representative of that time. The rooftop deck adds more space for viewing for the garden theater. It would have some seating, some tables, so people can enjoy food up there as well, and it would be accessible from the garden theater as well as from the Fox, so it would be controlled of when it's in use depending on the weather. So the second floor would look something like this, where you have much more flexible space with seating along the catwalks. And in the balcony, it would be more like stadium style seating. There's no assigned chairs, and you could just take more or less space. This is an elevation of the east facade. So the restoration of this facade of the theater includes restoring the curved storefront display windows and glazed doors on either side of the central theater entrance that we see in the 1941 Art Deco style theater. This was identified as a period of significance in the Colorado State Register of Historic Places. The marquee is a recognized landmark, and we want to make sure that it remains unchanged and continues to stand out in our design. When we add Phase 1, which includes the new stair and elevator and restrooms, we want to make sure that the facade design complements the theater and the rest of the streetscape. We will look into the theater's Art Deco elements and overall facade composition for designing within the historic context, and we will differentiate between the old and the new with a change in exterior materials and colors, while introducing new storefront and awnings along the street, which will help reinforce the established building edge and pedestrian scale. Additionally, by connecting the sidewalks between the theater and the new building, including the addition of planters, seating, and the brick that's in front of the theater currently, this will help promote pedestrian interaction and activity. Once the event center addition is constructed, the new facade will take its final form and feature ground floor public space that has lots of windows and transparency to invite the public in. Just as so many of the turn-of-the-century Main Street facades do, this will extend to the upper floors of the proposed event center and reflect the second floor uses with openings that capture lights and views. Now, this is a floor plan of the proposed Phase 2, or the eventual event space, event center for the Fox. We shared this previously at the last community meeting, but the new features of this space would be a larger cafe restaurant style space with another small stage for music, live music, or a comedian or some other show, with a small ramp to make it accessible. So you can see the restroom core and kitchen remains in the same space, so we wouldn't have to demolish or create new spaces. There will also be a new green room that replaces the old shipping container one that was temporary for acts both in the cafe and in the main theater. We would also have the smaller screening room and black box classroom. So this would cater more to education programs and smaller showings for the theater. The second floor of the event center addition to the Fox would again expand on this circulation space. So where we had the rooftop deck, we could build out additional restrooms to serve all the new program. We could have a large storage space for the event space or conference space, and 4 additional rooms, which could be conference room, offices, maybe a studio space for a visiting artist or educator. And we also have this large balcony on the outside that would have views to the mountains and just add additional space for the event or conference space.
Hi everyone, my name is Ivy Steele. I'm a Master's of Landscape Architecture. I'm excited to present to you 2 concepts that we've been developing for the Fox Garden Theater. This outdoor theater space is intended to go into the lot adjacent to the existing theater to the south. We've included just a couple examples of the precedents we've been studying as we've put together ideas for a theater that is uniquely tailored to the Walsenburg community and the legacy of the Fox Theater. Concept 1 for the Garden Theater considers how industrial materials can be repurposed to create a multifunctional theater and event space. The entrance is lined with retractable garage doors that can be opened up when weather permits, while the structure as a whole provides protection against high winds. Concept 1 offers a sequence of spaces that are semi-enclosed and open. The entrance space on Main Street could function as a cafe, refreshment area, and place to gather between movie showings. Shipping containers could provide a variety of uses, from creating a covered seating area, supporting the projector, and as you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, the movie screen. This scheme features a slightly sloping lawn for viewing, hardy wind-tolerant trees, and lighting features to ease mobility in the dark. Here we have an interior view of Concept 1, demonstrating a variety of potential uses for this semi-enclosed space. And here, another perspective view of the Garden Theater Concept 1, this time in the evening with a movie screening taking place. Concept 2 for the Garden Theater was inspired by the nostalgia and fun of a childhood camping trip. The entrance is composed of repurposed lumber, and just beyond, the tops of fast-growing native trees meet the eye. The rolling metal door welcomes visitors during open hours while keeping the theater safely enclosed when winds are high or the theater is closed. Concept 2 features a repurposed camper for preparing and serving refreshments. There are a variety of seating options, from Adirondack chairs to picnic tables to spacious lounge seating for groups. The projector is housed in a structure meant to mimic a treehouse or a deer stand. Unlike Concept 1, this scheme features gravel for reduced maintenance and water needs, and a stage to create additional performance opportunity. Here we have a daytime perspective view of the second concept for the Garden Theater, and an evening view of the Concept 2 while a movie is showing. The front end of the space towards Main Street is meant to provide space for gathering, having refreshments, some chatter, to provide some separation of sound and uses of the space while movies are screening.
We'd like to thank you for spending some time with us today and help shape the future of the Fox Theater in Walsenburg. Before you go, though, we'd like to ask one more thing. We need to hear what you think about the possibilities we have discussed tonight. We've shown you how the theater might be if we keep the renovations just inside the existing walls. And we have shown you what might be possible if we expand into the lot to the south of the theater, at first gently, and then later on with an eye towards a new event center. And how fun would a summer night at the Garden Theater be? But we can't move forward without hearing from you. Please share your thoughts, opinions, ideas, support, even things you didn't like, wherever you have watched this presentation, and on the Fox Theater's website and Facebook page. There you'll find a survey you can take. And keep an eye out for a digital community meeting where we can discuss the project and answer your questions directly. That'll be advertised on the marquee. Our program depends on community input, and creating a theater experience that reflects your needs depends on the feedback we get from you. And before we say goodbye, take a moment to read all the names of the talented students who will be shaping the world for the next 50 years.
You must remember this, a kiss is just a kiss, a sigh is just a sigh. The fundamental things apply as time goes by. And when two lovers woo, they still say I love you. On that you can rely.